The religious wound that a majority of humans carry, and especially those who have been a part of a community, an organization, a religious group, a set form of beliefs, and it was deceiving you from the power that is within inside of you. They took what was already yours, given to you naturally, and made you believe that it was never yours to begin with, by making you feel bad about certain natural qualities that we all have to overcome and master. We have to master our temptations. We have to master elements of who we are to become refined beings. This is a part of the process of life. It's like talking to a 5-year-old and saying, oh, well, you're not 60 years old. And then the 5-year-old is sitting, oh, I'm so sorry. And then when you do that, then you sell back that person the connection that they already had, and you have them tied to you, gripped to you, and rooted in. So this is done in the root chakra, and then also in the sacral chakra, which is meaning, oh, well, the only way that I'll be safe in this world is if I buy myself back into grace, as if you never were perfect in the first place. But the only reason that grace exists is because someone told you that you were bad for just being you. And this lie is the lie of religion wound. It's what makes and drives you to do so much for a being that is outside of yourself. So anytime you are in any specific religion, you are in any type of beliefs, and understand God as outside of you in any realm, then you are under deception. Because when you truly understand yourself, it is the only cable to connecting to any form or level of God, because there are many different levels of being connected to God. Some people only channel God's energy in a prayer at the nighttime, or some people only channel God's energy in a reading, or some people only channel God's energy on a Sunday morning. You understand me? Most people aren't connected to any form of God energy because, like I said, there are many levels. Because like any person, when you first get to know someone, you start with a greeting, and then you begin to get into conversation, then you begin to understand and know one another. It is similar with energies. It's different, but it's similar. And the creator of all things is an energy that is present in all things that is of creation. Now, anything that is distorted from creation is no longer fueled by creation. It's like chopping a limb off the tree and then sticking it in a pot, and it no longer has leaves, so you glue the leaves on and call that a tree. It's not a tree because it doesn't have roots and it didn't grow its own leaves. That's what deceptive behaviors are, and what a lot of religion is. So when you chop off the branch and put it in a pot and glue on the leaves, and you continually water this dead piece of branch, and you keep begging and asking God for answers and help when you're literally watering a dead branch, does it have resemblance of the understanding of God? Yeah, it used to be, but now God discarded it because it's no longer the truth. It was diseased, so to say. and it's no longer able to rekindle itself because it's been off of the main part of the tree for too long. It was never able to create from creation because you have to have certain specifications to use the creative energies. Now, previously, before I came in and threw down the laws back, there was a lot of people that were not supposed to be using creative energy that were using creation energy. And they were using that energy to do things that were not upstanding of the pure creation energy. So people were getting confused, and people will continue to be confused because they don't know who the creator of all things is now, because people have been looking at a branch stuck in a pot and they've been watering it with glued on leaves, and they think that is the connection to the creator of all things. That is the way, the truth, and the life, and only through this dead branch will you be able to access. That is the biggest lie you will ever experience, and those who are triggered right now, that's because they have you rooted into that specific religion. And when you're rooted somewhere, you will fight for your entire life for what you are rooted into. So this is also why when you are sexually active with someone, your natural desire, not traumatic desires, your natural desire is to fight for that person because you are rooted in. And that is why one man and one woman are meant to be together, and that is it, because it provides no confusion. So if you've done multiple partners, or you have a bag of this and a whole heap of that, and you're connected to all of these different partners, and you even have sexual energy connected to your mother or your father because there was, abuse as a kid or whatever the case may be, you're rooted into them and they're rooted into you. So you will do anything in your whole power to care for them and protect them. That is a natural instinct that happens within the soul and the body. So you have to learn what is good for you and what is not good for you. And most people who has been in religion, who is having all of these issues of confusion and why is nothing happening, it's because you've learned that God is a dead branch in a pot with stick-on leaves, and you've been watering it and praying to it. The same as if you were to pray to a golden calf, or you were to pray to a wooden sculpture. Your mind has been tricked to look towards something that is no longer connected to the creation of all things. And this is why so many people will be calling themselves of a faith, but that faith has no power. But then they use their words, which are powerful, and then things happen and they say it's the God doing it. It's not. It's you doing it. If you cuss somebody or curse somebody with your mouth, you have the authority and power to do those things. We call that witchcraft. You can read out of the Bible and be expressing witchcraft by using the words from the Bible, because your heart is with the intent of whatever it is. So you have to understand religions, belief systems, everything goes down to the core value of who you are. And if you believe that you can't sit there and be perfect as you are, and that you don't have to do anything other than love yourself. As you see the world, you must love yourself more than the world in order to radiate the connection within inside of you to the world, letting your light shine. The deepest parts of you must be expressed. That is how God enters this realm, on whatever level. And like I said, most of you are only allowing God in one conversation in a week, or maybe not even that. When your heart has been hardened, there is no way for the creation energy, God format, to walk through your life in not even a grain of sand. It can't. Nothing can save you, but you can understand how you're made and dive deep within yourself and reestablish that connection. It is extremely important that you would do that if you have any desire for power. But most of you have been finding yourself praying to these dead branches with glued on leaves. And if it's not the dead branch with the glued on leaves, then maybe it's a light bulb in a black room, and you've been told that's the moon or the sun. When it comes to understanding the dark, the spiritual realm, the amount of people that stand for truth is so few and far in between, because people realize how powerful it is to manipulate other people. You can do it so easily. Most people do it with emotions every day. They'll play the victim. They'll go, oh, poor me, and people react. It's easy to use emotions to manipulate someone. And when you use spirituality to manipulate someone, it's because they're desiring power over you, dominance over you, to use your connection against you. That's going to the next level. So no longer are you able to express anything great through yourself. It's been rewired to someone else and given back to you at breadcrumbs. And no wonder we have so many toxic relationships in the world today, abusive relationships, domestic violence relationships, because people have learned through religion that their own source and their own connection to God, which is only found by you finding the things that give you joy and things that give you greatness. Anything that continues to cause you pain and suffering and make you feel small and little has nothing to do with anything God. If someone says humble yourself, they don't know the essence of God, because God never says humble yourself. God says take responsibility for every word that you speak. And if you cannot stand behind it and stand firm in it and know that what your word is perfect to match the person in front of you, then you need to step down and allow the bigger power to be, but you are still a power in yourself. These are really important things you need to know when you are cleansing your palate, cleansing your mind from religion. Is you've been told to be so small. You've been told that you don't have a connection because you are this, that, and the other thing. And when that happens, you learn to use that power, give it to someone else, and allow them to give it back to you with breadcrumbs. They just give you a little piece, a little piece, a little piece. And you literally run after those little pieces, little pieces, little pieces. And then they have all the power to do what they want. This is why there are no more of those types of people in power. It's going to take a little time for some of these things to perfectly manifest. But if you start to see the person that is in your community having a lot of problems happening with them, they don't look so healthy in their skin anymore. If things are not quite sounding right, it's because they're not meant to be leading. They're not meant to be the person giving you translations and understandings of teachings. Religion was only meant to help you, like an education system. How do you become a better doctor? You learn about the biology. Okay, so how do you become better connected to the source of all things? Well, you learn how your body works. You learn how your mind works. That's literally what the words of scriptures of all of the different religions ever created. They're there to teach you how to work it. The more that you love things, the more gratitude you have, the more you're given back in return. There are so many different little nuggets in scriptures. That's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be education for you to grow. Not to feel like, oh, I'm nothing. And now when I open this, I'm putting in my time. That's not how it works. Nobody cares how much time you've spent there. You have to understand the words that are in front of you. You have to understand the energies that are in front of you. And most of you have been watering a dead tree branch with stick-on leaves and asking for something in return. And then you use your own power and your own words and see, okay, now I see movement, so this must be the right way. Well, you're using your own power. But are you using it correctly? Are you noticing great things happening for you? Are you noticing that you have more freedom and more growth and more light and more value and deeper understanding and power within inside of your voice and in your body, and you're healthy and you're just making all the right moves and you feel free within yourself, even though you have more? That's when you know you're doing the right thing. And when it's the opposite, you know you're going in the wrong direction. And you've been using your own power, which all humans are given power. But where is it coming from? Are you sourcing your power from deception? Or are you sourcing power from the earth? Or are you sourcing power from another person? Are you being dominating over someone you know and stealing their power? Be responsible for yourself. Understand the power that you hold by just being a human being. Once you start to truly understand these things within inside of yourself and really take responsibility for your words, your action, the way you can manipulate people, because every person on earth can manipulate another person. We all have it in us. It's how do you choose to restrain yourself from such things that allows you to not be manipulated in return. But if you think you're smarter, or you can take more pain, or you can hold the whole world on your shoulders, you're going to be manipulated. You can only take responsibility for yourself. And that is the greatest truth that you will ever understand. Know yourself. Know your own connections. And know that the power is granted to you until you cut it off and give it somewhere else and give it away. Notice where you're giving it. Are you getting it in return? These are all the things you look at when you're coming out of religious dogma, religious oppression. Did you have to learn it? Yeah, that's why you were there, and now you're here. You have to understand yourself. You yourself, your own human being, is a portal for whatever you want. You choose. Is it going to be love? Is it going to be hate? Is it going to be greatness? And don't tell me That love for your own kind and hate for somebody else is love. That's hate disguised as love. Understand your truest intention deep within inside of yourself. If you look at another person and believe you're bigger than them, you're better than them, you can overtake them, you have already lost. You can only overtake yourself. You can only control yourself. You can only hold standards for yourself. You can draw a circle around you and you can protect that and say, this is my circle, don't enter it. Yes? But that is the only thing that you should be communicating is your standards to other people and upholding those standards. Take responsibility for yourself. Take responsibility for the mind that you have on your head and allow the thoughts to finally come through your mouth. And if you can't speak it because that's too hard, then learn to write it down. Align yourself with yourself. Because a whole heap of you are still looking at a dead branch in a pot with stick-on leaves, watering it, expecting something great to happen. And when you speak your words, something happens, and so you believe something is true. Learn yourself.